Hello and welcome to Law and Order SVU here on FANVERSATION. This is the Law and Order SVU after show. Today we're talking season 12, episode 1, Locum. You still try to get the numbers?
Yeah, but I don't know if it's weird. Like, I don't know what's going on. It's episode 1 of this season, okay?
All right. This is season 12, episode 1, Locum, also known as the episode with Bailee, Madison, and Joan Cusack. So, like, that episode.
To me.
I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm joined as always by Taylor Gates. Hello, Taylor.
Hello.
Hi. Felicia could not be with us today, but she will be with us later. And we'll tell you about that at the end of the stream. So stick around. Before we jump into the episode, as always, I'll remind everybody of the hotline. If you are in a situation and you need help, please reach out to RAINN. Their number is 1-800-656-4673, 1-800-656-4673. Taylor, what does 4673 mean?
It spells hope, everyone.
It does spell hope.
We love that.
We do love that. Welcome to everyone who's in our live stream. Hi, Zach and Daryl. I see you're here. We're excited to talk about this episode. This is an episode that I know Taylor loves. Upon rewatch for the 50th time, it's great. Like, it's such a great episode.
I told you so.
So as a warning, we're gonna make some comments. This episode is like deals with a lot of different issues, and sometimes we make comments that are not so great.
Yep, that's fair enough. I might do some reenactments with my favorite lines.
Yes. We have a lot to talk about. All right, here is the quick cap for season 12, episode 1, Locum. When Benson and Stabler investigate the circumstances behind a foster child's disappearance, they discover that her overprotective parents are still struggling to cope with the disappearance of another daughter. It's a pretty good quick cap.
Pretty accurate.
I see that Daryl and Zach both enjoyed this episode as well. I'm so excited to talk about this because this episode was like a season premiere, and this is back when the show did not like do big season premieres or finales. It was just another episode, but it's a like great episode. It like starts the season so beautifully.
Any episode that starts with Joan Cusack eyes open in the bathtub while Bailee Madison is messing up for Elise in the living room wearing a silly band, like, you know, the rest of the season, like, how do you even meet or top that? Like, that is just everything to me, you know?
I forgot about silly bands until rewatching this, and I went, oh yeah, silly bands were a thing.
Such an amazing, like, time capsule. Like, I know that we talk about, like, the chat rooms and stuff in, like, season 1 and 2, the fact that there's a silly band in this is incredible to me.
I agree. Also, the Joan Cusack eyes open in the bath looking like a dead body is amazing, because you start the season going, oh, we're starting with a dead body. Like, what an interesting way to start the season. And then she's not a dead body.
And thank God she's not, because she capital A acts in this episode. Like, she gets to chew all the scenery, and I'm just like, good for her. Like, she deserves that.
I honestly, as I was rewatching, I took 0 notes until a specific point, because I was just so enthralled in this episode. I love this episode.
So good.
Bailee Madison, let's give some props to this actress. So I think it needs to be noted, Bailee Madison first came on the scene in Just Go With It, which is the most underrated Adam Sandler movie.
I was going to say, I was like, don't you disrespect Just Go With It.
No, Just Go With It is the most underrated movie because it was promoted very poorly, and it was actually a fantastic movie because it's a remake. Anyway, not the point. The point is Bailee Madison appeared to us in that. She then, I would say, like, really showed her incredible ability in Once Upon a Time, playing a young Jennifer Goodwin. In our home, she is referred to as Little Snow White. Like, that's who she is.
I love it.
So to see her, and now she's like a star of the
huge.
show on Hallmark.
Yeah, she's been in so much stuff for being like so young. But I obviously for me, she's Callie's little sister from the Fosters, and they do look strikingly similar, which is so funny. But she's great. Like she kills it. I think she's wonderful, and she's so good in this episode.
She's amazing in this episode. Her ability to be performing at the caliber of Joan Cusack,
yes, oh my
is
God,
amazing. So let's discuss some parts. I don't know. I don't even know where to start. Oh, she left The Good Witch. Thank you. My bad.
Well, she was there for a while.
She was the star, right? She was one of the stars.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
That's fine. She's doing a lot.
I think she's in a Netflix movie that came out like last week too.
Yeah, that's true.
Or this week? I don't know, but she's anchoring movies, which is saying something.
Yeah, I think it needs to be appreciated that like she started in that Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah, and the British accent, right?
With the like terrible British accent. And like I remember being like, this girl's wild. And now I'm like, this girl's incredible. Like what? Oh, I can't wait for her to win an Oscar. Anyway, where do we? Oh, also, you want us to start with Henry Ian Cusick. I don't know how to say his name. This is the guy from Lost.
Yeah.
I remember when this episode aired, it was like a big thing that this guy from Lost was in it. I was like, but Joan Cusack is in it.
Right. Like, let's get our priorities straight. He was great, though. He was in The 100, and he was also in Scandal for the first season, too, I think.
Yes. I think for just the pilot, if I remember correctly.
It was the first. I just watched the first season of Scandal since the first season, and then I got to episode 2, and I was like, where's the guy? And he just wasn't there anymore. But
yeah. So what I love about his character is actually the next episode of his.
Yeah.
I love that he stays. I also think he brings up a really amazing point. This episode, we're jumping around. It's fine. He is like, a man can't help a child without you assuming that he's a predator. Now we're ignoring what we know in the next episode that he's in. I think it's a really interesting point. That
I do too.
This is. Yeah, go ahead.
It is true. And I think we've been primed to think that too because of this show. Like, obviously, when you see them talking, getting kind of close at the train station, you're like, like there's something sketchy about this. But it's true. Like, he could have been just like talking to her, trying to get her home. Like, yeah, it's like, it's a hard line. Like, when is it overcautious and when is it like the appropriate amount of cautious, I guess.
I think one of the best parts watching this episode, again, knowing where it goes, the part where it looks like she had said that he was Eddie, like, and he was like, I'm about to go to jail for the one I didn't do. Like, I think that's what, if you watch it, that's what's going on in his face, is like, I'm about to go down for this one. Like, no. This one I didn't do.
We're at least gonna get it right, okay?
Right. Like, if I'm gonna get caught, it's gonna be for one that I did.
Seriously, though.
Interesting. Daryl says that in the British media a few years ago, there were men talking about being scared to comfort a lost child or to check on a child by themselves. I think that's a really interesting point. I know that, so for those who don't know this, I teach Jewish Sunday school. I had to go through a training. None of us are allowed to be alone in a classroom with a kid. Mm-hmm. And we're not allowed to use the same bathroom as the kids.
Oh, interesting. I volunteered with teens, like young teens. And I also had to get a background check, go through like training. There are rules about where we can meet. So yeah, I kind of feel the same way as you. Like there's limitations and things we need to do to like make sure that's appropriate. There's like boundaries.
Yeah. And there's also, I mean, there's an episode of SVU that talks about this idea that a lot of times doctors, a male doctor might be accompanied by a nurse just to be there so that no one can say anything happened. Like the idea is not just to protect the child or the client, but also to protect the person from being accused. And I think that's really important. And I think that if this man, Eric Weber, was at a train station and saw this child and was trying to comfort her or help her. Maybe tell someone who works there.
Right. Get your ducks in a row. Be thinking ahead.
Right. Like if you thought about going to buy her a soda and then sat down to talk to her, on the way back with the soda is being like, hey, there's this girl. I think she's trying to run away. I'm going to keep her company. You should call the cops.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
I'm not saying that you can't be a grown adult who wants to help a child. I'm saying if you tell another adult, it's less suspicious.
Yeah, exactly. Cover your bases. Like,
right. There's, especially in the US where there are all these people are always afraid to be sued for things, like then go out of your way to cover your bases.
Yeah, exactly.
But great place to start. So I really love the whole storyline of her just missing her foster brother.
I did too. And I love that that's like, it's like such a funny red herring because it's like, she's like, yeah, it's that guy. Like, you're right, you caught him. But she's like, I love her character because there's like obviously a lot of vulnerability that we see, but she's also like kind of mischievous. And she's like, obviously is the one who steals the $200, wheelies right away, like into the train station. Like, she's really smart and like kind of cunning, but it's obviously for like a purpose. Like there's a lot of like hurt inside, and she does a really good job like playing all those layers at once.
Yeah, I want to understand why Marie, the foster mom, was like, that girl's trouble. Why is she trouble?
I'm assuming it's because she's acting like a normal 10-year-old. I didn't trust Marie. I didn't like Marie.
I didn't trust Marie either. I just think it's interesting that she was like, that, I've had all these kids and she's the only one who's been trouble. I'm like, why? What did she do?
Yeah, I think it's nothing more than like what she's doing with Joan Cusack, to be quite honest.
Wanting to go outside?
Yeah, wanting to go outside and like use a computer and like wheelie and wear a silly band.
And be a child?
Yeah,
How dare she want to be a child?
Yeah.
I think what's really interesting is after we get to like the root of the issue, everything that Mackenzie tells us is correct, is the truth. She just goes about it in the weirdest way.
Because she's a kid though. Like it makes sense that she's kind of like thinks that it's one thing and there's like truth to it, but she's also young and has like a kind of overactive imagination, I think too. So I think it makes sense.
I do too. I just find it very annoying. Because every time, so like she says she's hurt. She's like, they hurt me. I need help. And Benson, look, when Benson is like, she left us this note saying they hurt me and she needs help. And everyone else, first of all, I'm saying it, men. They're all men and they're like, she's overreacting.
Yeah, what? You work in SVU? Like, are you kidding me right now? I was like, okay, you're crazy.
A child is asking for help. And these men who literally see children who need help all the time are like, yeah, she's fine.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you have spent 2 minutes in a room, I don't even know her name. What's Joan Cusack's name in this? I just keep calling her Joan Cusack. Pamela. Okay, well, I'm just going to
write it down.
Cusack. If you are in a room with her for more than like 2 minutes, there's something off. Like, there's something off. It's not like she's like malicious necessarily, but she's not all like correct. It's not a good environment for her, and you should probably realize that by now.
So honestly, the idea that they adopted this girl, I was like, wait a second, this family that had a child go missing, it hasn't been resolved, and some people think of them as the suspect, we're able to adopt a child.
That's such a good point. That is such a good point. What were they thinking?
Yeah,
like Olivia couldn't get a child for years because she, I don't know, worked too much. But these people just waltz right in with Mackenzie? Interesting.
I just think that's a weird thing that wasn't addressed.
That's a really good point. Like, let's talk to that agency, perhaps. Let's investigate them.
I'm sure someone's going to point out that they are very rich, and I think that is fair. I just think that it should have been said. Like, even Stabler being like, when the sheriff or whoever was like, I don't have any proof, but I think the parents did it. He should have been like, how did they adopt a 10-year-old then?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point that I didn't even think of, but you're absolutely
right. Yeah, Zach says the trooper Stabler is talking about definitely thought they killed Ella. So then how?
Yeah. He did not do his due diligence whatsoever. He's like, yeah, I think that they killed her. Haven't really checked up on that. Haven't really, bro. Please.
I mean, the fact that it comes down to the photograph that they didn't ask about, like,
yeah,
it was that the cops did not ask.
I cannot.
So silly. All right, so let's continue talking about some of this earlier stuff before we get into the Ella storyline.
Yeah.
So when Benson, I want to talk more about Benson and Eric Weber's relationship because he asks her out for coffee and she's like, I don't mix business with, and he was like, well, I'm not business anymore. You cleared me. She could have been like, look, Jeffrey's learned that the hard way. We're not doing this.
Yeah, seriously though. We also got some delicious jealous Elliot, and you can try to spin it however you want, but that was jealousy.
Is it?
Sorry.
Is that what it was?
Yes, I'm gonna say it was.
I see.
It was something. You don't just have him say things like that and it mean nothing. They even if they didn't need it, they're dangling, they're baiting, like they know what they're doing,
I guess it's my favorite line. I'll hold on to it then. I'll wait on my line.
I have like 10, so if you want to say yours.
Okay, but when we get to best lines, we'll do the end of it.
All right.
So I really love Benson's whole, with the note, we now get a home visit. And then we get Pamela, you think I'm an unfit mother.
Yeah, kind of.
I mean,
sorry.
Yes, but also you're projecting. I think you've got some insecurities there. If you're going to shout that out. Yeah. I want to also talk about this computer chip thing. Benson does point out like a dog. Yes.
The whole time I could not help thinking of like how relevant this is and like how much I hate it because like I wanted to post a clip and be like LOL, but it turns out it is a computer chip. So I'm like, I can't because there's like all those theories about how like the COVID shot's gonna track you. It's first of all not. Like I'm just gonna say that right now. It's not. But now I'm like, damn, like I can't even post this and have it be fun because she's right. Like it is a computer chip.
To be fair, I had the same thought. I was like, oh yeah, I just got my chip a couple weeks ago.
Like, oh, I should post it. It's so funny. And I'm like, I can't. We simply can't feed into that narrative.
Honestly, it's once we got to like the chip and then the nose job and then the hair dyeing, which we'll talk about in a second. At that point, like this girl should be removed.
I would say, yeah, I would agree with you. Get her out of there, please.
Also, are we to believe that in this world, Bailee Madison originally had blonde curly hair?
Yeah, that picture, I was like, all right.
They couldn't have hired, no offense to Bailee Madison, who's amazing, but they couldn't have like done it the opposite way, where like they put her in blonde because that would feel unreal. Like
exactly.
Or like, or even like, okay, they chemically straightened her hair. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
But in no world do I believe that Bailee Madison naturally has curly blonde hair.
No, I agree. It's fine. It was a Photoshop job, but it's okay.
It's like how I do Photoshop. I don't. Oh yeah, it was blonde, right? I'm not making that up.
Yeah, like, it was blonde and like curly, and I was like, yeah, you see the picture for 1 second. I think she has like a baseball cap on. I'm just like, no, but it's fine. Well,
I'm pretty sure the hair is attached to the baseball. It's one of those wigs where like it's all one piece.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, so I do enjoy the if a nose job for a kid was illegal, you'd have to arrest the Upper East
I'll
Side.
say if giving a child a nose job was a crime, you'd have to arrest half the parents on the upper West Side.
West Side.
Incredible.
Yes,
I
great
did
line. I'm sure. So then we do the Ella case and we find out.
No, we have to, because I wanted to reenact this one.
Oh, right. Wait, no, hold on. So we start with the photographer.
Okay.
And then we're hearing about some red-haired girl that came out of nowhere. And the cops think it's the parents, which eventually gets us to the photographer who has a picture of the red-haired girl. What was she wearing, Taylor?
Well, let me demonstrate for all of our YouTube watchers. She was wearing an orange shirt and green shorts.
She was. Thank you for cosplay.
Just had to give you a little visual aid today. You're welcome. I'm bounding is what you call that. It's not cosplaying, but it's like the step below that.
Yeah, bounding.
I'm bounding as Darla Pennington today. Circa 2000, whatever year that would be. You're welcome.
Yep. Whatever year that would be.
Yeah.
Wonderfully done.
I'm not doing math live on air. That would be so embarrassing.
Honestly, I want to talk real quick about this scene where Stabler gaslights Pamela, because this is when people don't understand gaslighting. This is the scene I show them, which is this girl going, "My daughter was kidnapped." And he's like, "Where'd you hide the body?" And she's like, "No, someone took her." And she's like, "Where'd you hide the body?" She's like, "No, there was this other girl who invited her play and then she was taken. Where's the body?"
Yeah,
she's still alive. And he's like, "Oh, you kept her alive? Where did you hide her?" Stop gaslighting this woman.
Yeah, literally though. Yeah, it's a little.
It's like it's the definition right there. Is she's going, "You gotta find my daughter," and he's like, "Okay, tell me where you put her."
Right, like he will not let up too. I'm like, come on, let's back up.
Yeah, I actually have used that scene as an example.
As you should. It's a good visual aid.
Yeah.
Unfortunate that it came from our team, but we've discussed that they are not perfect by any means.
So anyway, we find out that this redhead that we have the photo of wasn't missing, but was in kiddie porn. And that takes us to Darla at the massage parlor. And we find out that she tried to save Ella from her father, who wanted to make her his wife.
The twists and turns.
Seriously. So, honestly, from the beginning, the twists and turns are this girl ran away. There was no older man. She just wanted to see her foster brother.
They're trying to make her a carbon copy.
They're trying to make her a carbon copy. Yes. The doll's made to look like you. No, the doll was here first.
This is a lie.
They chipped her. Their other daughter is missing. The redheaded girl is real. The redheaded girl's father is who took her to make her his wife. And then she's alive.
She's alive. A journey.
Such a journey. And then in the end, this is the big question for me, because Ella comes back and everyone's so happy. What happens to Mackenzie?
She is not staying there, I don't think.
I was like, does this girl now have the most freedom where like her mom no longer gives two shits what she's doing? Like now they have Ella to worry about. Mackenzie, go visit your foster brother, go be outside.
Right.
We are here.
I do want to say,
yes,
I think, speaking of acting, the girl who plays Ella does such a good job, like without saying much. I think like that scene where she hides behind the tree, like every time I see that, I'm like, oh my god, like she's really not talking, but her facial expressions, her like body movements is so good to me. Like I'm always blown away by that performance.
I totally agree. The actress's name is Amanda Dillard, and she definitely deserves props for that. Amazing performance. Daryl says they're putting Mackenzie in one of those New York boarding schools.
So awful. But like,
I mean, they don't have space for her in that home. There's only one bedroom for the daughter.
Give me like a show where they have to share a room. That would be crazy. I'd watch the hell out of that.
I mean, I don't understand how the episode ends without Mackenzie saying, "What happens to me?"
Well, her face does it, I think. It's like resignation of like, oh yeah, they don't care about me anymore. But she's like also happy that she was found. It's so much is said.
Zach says the one thing that always gets me every time I watch the episode, what happens to poor Mackenzie? Absolutely. At the end of the episode, I like hear her saying, "What happens to me?"
Yeah.
It's crazy. Yeah, I love this episode. It's so good.
It's so underrated.
It is. And honestly, like the twists and turns are fantastic, but also like the story itself is just wild.
I agree.
So good. All right, let's head into some of our best lines.
List.
I will start.
Yes.
My best lines. Well, I didn't actually write the line, but this is the one where I started taking notes. And it was when Munch was like, "Just so you know, like none of your things are private. Everyone's reading."
I wrote that one too.
And Finn be like, "Not now, not now."
Amazing.
Also, her mom is demanding a penis-free zone, penis-free environment.
Yep. That's another one I had.
Top of my list. All right, go for it. Tell us.
Well, the one I wanted to reenact earlier was Joan Cusack's "I love Ella," and then Olivia goes, "You mean Mackenzie?" I was like, that is a line that just like.
You forgot the next part. Shook. No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Oh yeah. No, she doesn't.
No, she doesn't.
She doesn't. She was right. That's that whole series of lines is so good. Kid just went for a joy skate. I love. So good. I love when they're in Grand Central. "I need you to shut down the train." "Which one?" "All of them." "Yeah, that's not gonna happen." In that whole part where she like takes that kid who is not her kid, I was like, oh man, that is so cringe every time.
Every time, because also that girl's wearing a hijab, like.
Right. I was like, I guess that like could be a disguise, but also like that, like let's not be grabbing random children, okay?
The girl that she grabs is so calm, as though this happens all the time.
Just like, stop. Like, how are you not more concerned at this point?
Right.
I would be more comfortable with the female detective. The nice one immediately cuts to, "You're an idiot." I think the editing there is just perfect. And then finally, I love when like the photographer is also just like a really funny character to me. Like he's just like taking pictures at the mall now, even though he had these big dreams of being like a nature photographer. I told him I didn't have any kids, at least none that I knew of. Like just so much gold.
So good. Daryl says, "I like the first meeting with the mother." Stabler says maybe she needs a little space. She's 10. Yeah, right. You seem like she needs space. So funny. Great lines. This episode is full of great lines, full of twists and turns. Really, honestly, a fantastic episode, Taylor.
Also, this isn't a line, but a moment that I always find really funny is where Olivia's at the house and she's like, "You said that they put something inside you. What was it?" And then she goes, "A computer chip." And Olivia's face kills me every time. She's just like, "We have wasted our time here." Like she's immediately so angry that this is why she was called over. It's like her face is just so funny to me every single time. She's just like,
well, because the thing is it keeps happening because it's the chip and then the doll and then the picture. So like every time Mackenzie tells her something, Ben's is like, "Oh God, tell me more." And then she tells her more and she goes, "Oh no, that's not a thing." And then she like questions the parents about it. And they're like, "Here's a reason for it." And she goes, "That's not a thing." Like every time.
I just like her acting is so funny to me where she's just like, You cannot be serious right now. Like,
yeah.
computer check.
You chipped her like a dog. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. So what's really amusing about this episode is, that's a weird transition, but
yeah,
I'm gonna say it. It's ripped from a headline. What?
Oh.
So this is ripped from the J.C. Dugard story, the kidnapping of J.C. Dugard. It happened in 1991. She was 11 years old. She was abducted from a street while walking to a school bus. Searches began immediately after her appearance, but no reliable leads were generated, though her stepfather was witnessed her kidnapping and chased the kidnappers on his mountain bike. She remained missing until 2009, so 91 to 2009, when a convicted sex offender, Philip Garrido, visited the campus of UC Berkeley, accompanied by two girls, now known to be his daughters. And the unusual behavior of the trio sparked an investigation that led his parole officer to order him to take his two girls to the parole office in Concord, California. He was accompanied by a woman who was finally identified as Dugard herself.
That's crazy. I do remember vaguely that case. Like,
really?
Not when it happened, but I remember like either knowing that was ripped from this headline or just like reading about it like in another documentary or whatever.
Interesting.
I think it's a pretty well-known case, isn't it?
I mean, it might be. I am not familiar, or like it doesn't immediately remind me of.
The name sounds familiar.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's see what else it has inspired. All of this information is available on wikipedia.com.
Thanks, guys.
So her life, J.C. Dugard documented her life in captivity in the book A Stolen Life, a Memoir, which she wrote as part of her therapy. She wrote in the book. It was published in July 2011 to assist other survivors of sexual abuse. A few days after the book was released, she gave her first extensive TV interview with Diane Sawyer.
Oh, I thought she was on Oprah, weirdly.
No.
Was she ever talked to Oprah? I used to watch Oprah after school with my mom. So
that could be it. So there's also on Investigation Discovery Channel, they did Wicked Attraction, aired an episode about her. So if you've seen that, on Channel 4 in the UK, Captive for 18 Years, J.C. Lee focused on her kidnapping. So it was a documentary that aired in October 2009. It's going to say 2009.
When the book came out, maybe she was doing like interviews for that. And that's
she had a second book in 2016, Freedom, My Book of Firsts. It focused on her life since the publication of the first book, her recovery and reintegration into the world. Oh, that's so sad. Yeah. She was again interviewed by Diane Sawyer. And then the case was covered in Case File True Crime Podcast in 2016. So interestingly, SVU not listed, but whatever. So you can check that out if you are interested in more information about that. But that is the headline that this episode was ripped from. Also, before we continue, as a reminder, next week is a new episode. It is the crossover episode with Organized Crime, the new Stabler show. If you have not seen the released scene that is out right now, I guess I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go check it out.
Go watch it.
It's everywhere. Maybe I'll link to it below.
Yes.
I'll remember and do that after our episode. So an hour after we air, it should be available. And if you're listening to the podcast version, it's in the description. Okay. What else did I want to tell everybody? Let's do the weekly poll, and then we'll tell you where to find us later this week.
Yes. All right. So last week, we asked you guys what your favorite twin episode was. So many good ones. Coming in at last place, sadly, with 7.1% of the votes. We have a tie between Parasites, which is season 2, episode 19, and Identity, which is season 6, episode 12. That's the one we talked about last week. That deserves better. I'm disappointed with you guys, but it's fine. Second place, we had Double Strand, which is season 13, episode 4. They got 21.1. 21.4% of the votes. And coming in at number 1, I am not shocked. This is an amazing episode. Bombshell, season 12, episode 18, got 64.3% of the votes.
Honestly, I think our fans are biased towards newer episodes.
It's true, but yeah, they share a soul.
Look, I'm not saying it's not a fantastic episode. I'm just saying the other episodes deserved better scores. I knew Parasite was going to lose because nobody remembers season 2 the way I do.
It's true.
I will also say, if you're listening to our show and watching our show, maybe check out the early seasons. They're great. They're wild.
They are great.
And what I think is even the best part about the old episodes.
Bombshell.
Oh no, what were you saying? Sorry.
I was just gonna say I'm not mad at Bombshell winning because it's such a classic.
I'm not mad at either. I'm just saying take some time to enjoy the classic episodes because like the stories were wild back then because they were all fresh. Like now I feel like a lot of the stories are similar or as we have noticed are exactly the same. I'm just saying.
Here's the thing about season 2. Olivia's haircut physically pains me. And that's why I struggle with that season. Season 3 has the kind of same vibe. Season 4 is when it starts to get better. Season 1's great. Fine, fresh, wonderful. Season 2, I'm like, what happened here? That's all I'm going to say for that.
I understand.
It's, like I say, it makes me physically in pain.
But the stories are so good.
It's true.
Anyway.
This week, we asked you guys what your favorite Found Girl episode is. Right now, in dead last with 0% of the votes, we have Avatar, which is season 9, episode 2.
Oh my God.
Explain Avatar for us.
Okay, Avatar, if I'm remembering correctly, is the one where a girl goes missing because she had this like schoolgirl avatar on Second Life, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Another Universe? One of
those.
Both
of those sound right.
Yeah. One of those. And it then turns out that she was kidnapped by this guy, this bookstore owner. This was during Lake was there. Detective Lake was there. Chester Lake.
You guys survived Lobster.
It was during his arc. So this guy kidnapped this girl and is holding her captive. And then it turns out that he also years ago kidnapped this girl who has been waiting for him in his cabin by the lake. And when they bring her to him, he doesn't want her anymore because she's old.
That's right. Yes, that's why I love it. So that deserves more respect than 0%. The scene
is so memorable that I think they made fun of it on The Soup on E. Like they literally were like, "What is this?" Because it's an old man saying to an old woman, "You're so old."
I do remember that. Wow, that deserves way more respect than it's getting right now. Someone change that.
Also, I'm just going to throw this out. The old man turns out to be Gregory Searle, which we then see again later in the episode where Carisi goes to live in that halfway house with sex offenders.
Yep, that's also a good one.
Just going to tie it all together for you. Go on.
Wild. Right now in third place we have Clock, which is season 8, episode 2. That is a great one. That's the one with the girl with Turner syndrome, where doesn't she need a medication or something, or else?
No, she wants to be able to have babies because she's got this very short window, and so she fakes her own kidnapping. She runs away with this boy who also like fakes a kidnapping so that he can get, I think it's like $500. And then it turns out that she left with her father's like assistant who's in love with her or whatever. It introduces Danny back at the end.
Because I think I get clock and countdown mixed up because it's like the same vibe of titles.
Right.
But you're right. That was also a good one now that you mentioned that. Right now in second place we have Undercover Mother, season 16, episode 15. That is just a classic because if you know, you know. The outfit that's in that episode.
It's the one where they go undercover in the Super Bowl.
I feel like we talk about this one every week for some reason.
We do bring it up a lot.
But like, why not, you know?
Yeah.
And then right now in first place, and its rightful first place, is this one, Locum, with 57.1% of the vote. However, there's only 7 votes, so this could very well change very quickly. But that's as we stand right now. So definitely go vote, and we'll tell you where to find that in just a few.
We will. In this, I always forget about this segment of ours. It's time for What Did We Learn? Oh man, what did we learn? I guess I learned that this was ripped from a headline that I did not know.
Interesting. I think I did know that, which is the first time that's ever happened. I'm gonna say I learned that you can put a computer chip in someone like a dog.
Like a dog. That's a good one. If you're watching us live and you're in our chat, what did you learn in this episode?
Please tell me.
I learned that when you re-watch it, you can see Eric's face, where he's like, no, I'm not going down for this because this one I didn't do. You can see that in his face, which I think is amazing.
I want to watch
the next episode.
I want to watch the next one now because that is a good little arc. Yeah, because I think that they premiered the same night, right?
No, it was
the next one's good too. It's the girl.
I think
didn't premiere the same night.
I think it was they were a week apart. I think it was just the next episode.
Oh, weird. Interesting. I don't know. I didn't watch it live. I didn't start watching until middle of season 12 live, but I thought weirdly I saw like that they premiered on the same date. I could be wrong. But the next episode's good too. It's Bullseye, right? With the girl who like also runs away from home and her parents are like too obsessed with raising their like video game family. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Is that the next episode? I don't think that is the episode. Oh, it is the episode. You are completely right. Hold on. Did these air? They did air the same night. Look at you.
Thank you. I know my stuff sometimes.
Wait, does this then turn into that episode? It does.
I think so, yeah. Because isn't there a karate class or something?
Yeah, the karate class and the girl pees her pants.
Yes.
Look at you. I'm very impressed. I'm learning so much. Daryl learned Bailee Madison has been doing work since forever. That's true.
Yeah. She has been acting since she was very young. She seems like a wonderful person too. We love that for her.
Yeah. Good call on these airing together.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. Let us tell you some big, important, exciting news and where to find the poll. This Friday at 5 p.m. Pacific, I am doing a stream over on my Twitch channel. I'll tell you about that in a second. And Taylor and Felicia will be joining me. The stream is a Drink or Dare game. We are going to be playing live on the air.
Be gentle with me. Be nice to me.
Yeah, so I'm going to share the screen. Boop. Drink or Dare. We're going to do that this Friday. Other people are going to be there as well that you may remember from AfterBuzz. Lauren LaGrasso is going to be there, Mary Lou Mandel, and other people as well. But I'm really excited about that this Friday. So if you missed Felicia this week, that's where you're going to be able to find her on Friday.
If you guys dare me to reenact the hot house scene again, I guess I'll have no choice but to do that.
I think that would be fantastic. Yeah, so if you want to come watch us play Drink or Dare or suggest some dares, you can find us this Friday on my Twitch channel. But until then, Taylor, where can everyone find you and the poll?
Yes, you guys can find me in the poll on Twitter at alphabet_and. You can also find me on Instagram at Taylor_Gates_.
Awesome. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL, including twitch.tv/Yael Tygiel, where we will be Friday playing Drink or Dare. I'm so excited about this stream. It's going to be wild and exciting. But if you want to come watch it, please do. We'll be live. You can suggest dares. And next week, we will be back for a brand new episode of SVU and the pilot of Organized Crime. I really want to keep calling it Criminal Intent, and I'm glad it's not Criminal Intent, but you know what I mean?
It's a different thing.
Different thing. All right. That's it. And Felicia will be back with us next week. I'm going to give the hotline one more time just in case you need it. It's 1-800-656-4673. 1-800-656-4673. Take care of each other. Be kind to each other. Have a great week.
All right, Ellen.
Have a great week, everybody. Bye.